Hi everybody, welcome back to our fourth episode of Step by Step Story of a Cake Order. As you would remember, in our previous 3 episodes, we have consulted an imaginative customer. We took their request, designed and priced Romeo and Juliet wedding cake, as you see behind me. So, the order is confirmed, imagine. And imagine today we are entering the kitchen, start planning the production on paper, and go through all the stages of construction, layering, timing, decorating, till the cake is on the kitchen table, ready to pack for delivery. To make this important part of the journey emphasized and understandable, we will leave the rest of it to the other 2 episodes later on. Please watch all previous episodes first, if you didn't do that yet, to make this episode more understandable and more meaningful for you. Let me start to explain you about those papers what you see on the table. These are the operational forms. And just went to my computer and then I find out the folder which is called Administration and Forms. And then I print out the forms that related to the issues what I'm going to talk this episode, which is the preparation and production. All right. So when you are in the cake decorating sort of environment, let's say not the business, or maybe you do it like a more smaller scale. So you have to understand that things will happen once in a while, or once in a month, or once in a week. So there is a periods of things that you have to look after that. All right. Most important time window is the week. You realize that very shortly after you start doing this. The Monday is very sort of like a dim, and then you go up slowly towards the weekend, and then go down again on Monday, and then just go this up and down all the time. So because of the most of the gatherings for this kind of events that need cakes will happen probably at the weekend. So doesn't mean that it's nothing happening on Monday. Sometimes happen, but most of it is happening in the weekend. So that is a good thing. Actually, we can start the week with like more administrative things, and then go towards like preparations, and then go to the hands-on finishings towards the weekend. So you may just think at this very moment, I don't need all those things. Then I will say how you operate your things. Maybe some of you will answer me like all up here. Well, that's fine. You can do that, but I can guarantee you, because I also start the same way and I suffer with that, you are inviting problems along the way. So it may happen things which is too late to fix, and then it may happen things that you forget about it, because just simply you do things whenever you feel like doing it is not the right thing to do. I can just assure you that. That's why I'm doing this episode actually. All right. When we look at those forms here, I gather them together into the different categories. For example, there is certain things about here is the manual. So it is actually information to read and then follow. All right. So I'm going to go through this one piece by piece, because I like to will refer those forms throughout this tutorial, throughout this episode, time to time. All right. So this lot is you take a bulk action to produce something. So for example, when you're planning the week, you can just write down what you need to do for this week or next week, but you can also look at the common things that you should produce at the same time a little bit more. Like for example, if you're talking about like a simply sugar roses, if you needed a couple of roses for this week, and you know that the other week also, so you produce everything together, or you instruct people how to do it and how much to do it to fill up these forms. So I have here flower forms and chocolate decoration forms, and then also special decorations and all the other things like fillers and life creatures, etc. All right. So I'm going to go through this one again when we're planning the Romeo and Juliet cake. These are another few forms that I use for batch processing and for baking and sandwiching cakes. So if you need to do a baking, I don't bake for one cake at the same time. So I'm just making like a big batch, and then freeze them right away, which I'm going to talk about later on again. And then after that, I will take it out from the freezer, defrost it according to the need of that week. All right. And here is the stock take inventory order form. That is the form that for many purposes, like for example, time to time you take inventory. It's written over here that all the information, the price and everything. So we will use that one for also take a note and checking your stock and then ordering. All right, I'm going to go through again. So these are the things that tags. Tags are very important because when you are doing more than one order, so you have to take every single work what you do to understand that which work belongs to which cake. All right, and this is the individual work instruction or instruction form. If you instruct somebody, instruct that on the paper and then ask them to fill a certain information again. And then here is the for 1 week tracking forms. So you can see over here what's happening the whole week and then what is happening also as a summary of decorations, which I'm going to go through again. So that's the kind of like shortly understanding the paperwork is important. So what are we going to do in this episode? I will answer some questions which I always receive. So often people ask me about one single thing, one actually main thing, which is the timing. Like when I do the cake, so I don't have to put in the fridge. So shall I put the cake in the fridge or keep it in room temperature? And then when do I mask the cake and when do I decorate the cake? All those things like very, very often coming as a question. So I hope that in this episode, I will answer maybe not all of them, but most of them I will answer it so you can find information about that. All right. So let me go through again. What is the plan of this episode? First thing is taking control of the week in front of you, or in a couple of weeks to come. And then after that, we're going to go through again all the days, and then cake production, and then construction preparations, decoration preparations, and after that, assembling the cake. All right. Let's start from the very first item here: taking control of the week or weeks in front of you. Taking control of the week. All right. What is week all about? So this is all different for every single different operation. So if you are a single person working at home and you are off whenever there's no order, you are working when it is needed. So, but it is like I like to talk general, but I cannot just really put everything into one pot. So for operations like 1 cake in a week is different. 2 cakes in a different, and then as we did in the past, like maybe 20 orders or 15 orders in a week, that's a different again. So I like to make it general, and I like to leave it to people who can like pick up informations that then and also like apply to their own need. That is up to you all guys. All right. So let's say today is Monday. All right. Then I'm going to start from Monday. But usually I did off on Sundays and Mondays. If there's order on Sunday, we already produce on Saturday anyway, so that everything is in this special room in the cool air conditioned about 20 degrees. And then some of them will deliver on Saturday, some of them will on Sunday. So I don't even need to be there because our driver will come and then pick up and bring the cakes in the right place. All right. So, but let's say in general, today is Monday and I'm taking control of the week. How I do that? So, first of all, I have my cakes already baked, sandwiched, and frozen in the freezer in every size. When I say every size, there's also like a very odd sizes and also like very common sizes. All right. Common sizes is what? 25 centimeter, 20 centimeter, 15 centimeter, 50 height. And I have some slabs, which is about 45 by about 25. And I can do any cake I want from those size put together, join or sort of puzzle together. All right. And also I have few of the 30 centimeter one, which is not many. All right. So that means we talk about like summarizing multiple orders here. We talk about like the construction prep, but not talk about cake production, because cake production will be done not according to which day of the week. It will be done whenever it's possible in the bulk amount. So we will get back to that when it's time comes. And after that, of course, there's also decorations prep in weekly basis, and also like a big mise en place for other weeks, and also assembling of course, for this week. All right. So I want you to imagine all my orders in front of me. Let's say about 6 orders we have, and including this one of them. All right. So every single order actually attached with tags. What tags are they? Cake tags. Cake 1, cake 2, cake 3, cake 4. So if there's a 2-tier cake, the order is written what cake are they, but at the same time I have also written here cake 1 What is the name of the customer? What is the nature of the cake? Like two-tier wedding cake or two-tier floral cake or whatsoever. Or maybe there's a code number, all right? And then after that, date. And then after that, size of the cake. And then what about the coating of the cake? Some cakes are only ganache coated. Some cakes are fondant coated. It's written here, even the color of it. So tag of the cake 1, which is the first tier, bottom tier. Tag of the cake 2, which is the second tier, or 3 or 4, all right? So that is attached to order form. And then that is a board tag, which is also with all the information in there, the size of the board, etc., color, and now what is the size of it, what's the coating of it, like which kind of cloth, etc. And I have also decorations tag. Again, at this stage, we only deal with the paperwork. We're just sitting in the office or somewhere comfortable table, and then we're just looking after the orders and just try to absorb what's happening for this week. All right. So when we look at here, summarizing multiple orders and prepare lists. So that is about the sponge, stock take. We have them ready or the freezer. Naked cake ready in the freezer. Ganache, we have to do some because when you cook the ganache, which is you cannot use right away. You have to rest on the table, close lid till next day, so that it becomes a beautiful, like a creamy texture. You can start sort of like a layering or anything like joining and then masking together the cakes. So that ganache has to be done as quick as possible. Maybe not today, but I have to write down how much I need, and then tomorrow it will be produced. And then, or maybe today afternoon. So I'm talking about Monday today, all right? And the boards in construction. So that means, let's go through that for particular order. This is the Romeo and Juliet cake. So when I look at over here, the cake 1, 2, 3, 4, every line here will come one tag. So that is already done, it's already here. And then also we have boards and stands, not only board, also other part of the constructions, which is this one, PVC pipe, long threaded rod, internal support, and then board, and then the cloth. Cloth means the color of the cloth also, all written here for one of them, for one order, all right? So then decorations, and then also this list is written, all those items here, windows, doors, roofs, surface decoration, bride and groom, and then the groom has a guitar, so it separately is written over here, and then whatever is all those things over here, including the flowers and leaves, and also like internal wiring. Also everything is written individual items without worry about how to put together. This is because to worry about later on, all right? So and also like if I say over here wire, then you can look at this picture and then take a measurement. It probably will be like 1 and 2, maybe 3 piece or 2 piece will be done, sort of, right? Okay. So when these things happened, when we start touching the cakes, so all the tags and then everything, when we're dealing with all the constructions, all those tags will be attached to the item, and if it goes on the shelf, that goes with the tag together. It goes in the fridge, it goes in the with the cake, each cake with the one tag together, so you can identify exactly which cake belongs to which order. All right. So throughout the days, like beginning of the week, things may go like a bit spread around. So you may just lose the control. But because of this form, because of this 2 form, I will keep it in control. Over here is the wedding and special basic cakes progress tracking form. So the name of the person here and the cake, nature of the cake written here, and also like progress, like a board is prepared, cake is coated, and then cake is finished. So we can also tick over here every time is something happened, and I can look at in one paper, one page here, I can see the progress, because I'm not doing everything. I just do maybe preparations, but my son does the masking and another person do the flowers, etc. is all going to record it here. And also I prepare all those things over here, all those decorations here written on one list over here, basically just rounded, written there, how many couple I have, whatever the decorations I have, and that is one thing. And then also flowers goes to this form, is written, do the stock, that means you prepare for coming weeks, and also write down over here what's for this week, all right? So that's all about it, all right, for the moment. And then after that, we're going to go to sort of like checking all those things, make sure everything is done, everything is recorded nicely. And after that, we look at the checking the existing stock and edit the list for bulk produce, which is this one I'm going to talk about next. All right, work distribution is this one. So if I have to tell someone that what to do, I write all the list over here and I ask them how long it took to do it. So, for example, if I ask them like, give me those and those items, and I want them to write down over here how long it took, because it will help me to prepare the to make the costing also, like labor cost is very important. So and also like a bit of control that people does not doing things too sort of like a relaxing. So it has to be known that how long it takes to do some certain things. All right. So okay, then ingredients, stock take, and then after that make an order. So basically those things like taking stock and then looking to the stock storeroom and then ordering things, that goes here. That is not done every week. So that is done like when the times comes. So there's every single item is written over here on this list, including the telephone number of the supplier, and also is written the price also here, so it will be updated. So if necessary, I go time to time to the storeroom and then check everything. So in the storeroom, of course, everything has a place. So every single item, if there's like, for example, certain things, always has to stay in the same spot. So I go there very quickly, just a few minutes, I can check and then I order whatever is missing. All right. So let's talk about now going through the cake production, and then after that carry on with the other things. After the initial office work is finished, of course, the first thing to do, we go to freezer and then take all those tags, and then take out all the frozen cakes in the right size or very close to the right size, and then put them together, attached to the tags, and then put them in the freezer to defrost. So next day we can be picked up from the fridge in a sort of defrosted condition, and then do the like a crumb coat, crust coat, trimming and finishing. Everything will be done accordingly, but not coating it. It's just like the finished mask cake ready to coat, and then cling wrap on it nicely, and then stay in the fridge till the time comes to coat. So having said that, let's say even that we have the cakes from freezer and then taking for this week, let's say just bypass that stage and imagine that we are doing the preparation for the cakes. All right. So basically, on that time, what we look at it, first of all, there's some information over here. Each cake, and then how many gram is this? Like for example, if we have a 25 centimeters, okay, 25 centimeters round cake, we need to have 700 gram. If we have a, for example, let's say white mud cake for 200 millimeter, we need to have 400 gram mixture in order to get this one done. All right. So then we have also other things like, for example, Japanese sponge or chocolate sponge or like sand base or butter cake, everything. So everything is written over here as far as that we know how many gram is one item. That will give us to that right amount. All right. So if I have that, I can produce that form that I can explain you just now. All right. So basically, the decision will be done. How many cakes we have to do? We write over here. So we have mud cake, this amount, so many, and then carrot cake, so much, whatever. That is the sort of batch instruction form that this will be then produced for that particular time. All right. Then, of course, if you decide, I want to make 25 this, 20 this, and then 10 this. So how much I have to produce? So that is the biggest question. All right. And then this has to be done very quickly. So I have this form over here. It's in the Excel form. In this form that I place every single size over here and every single liter of the amount. All right. Like every cake, how many liters is it? For example, 50 millimeter height, 250 millimeter wide, a round cake, which is with 2.45 liter. So if I know how much recipe I need for 1 liter, I can, this form will calculate the whole batch process. So let's say in a kind of like which I pick up from this form from the computer, it was the last sort of like a decision, was 35 times 90 millimeter, 50 height, a round mud cake. So this is only for mud cake. So I have this form for every other cake because every other cake is the weight is different. All right. So let's say I'm doing one mud cake production. All right. So I write over here 35 times this, 35 times 150 round, and 40 times 20 round, and then 30 times 25 round. This altogether is quite a big batch. All right. So it's altogether is about 170 cakes, And then that part is, as soon as you enter these numbers, only the one number for how many you want, which size, it will calculate exactly how much sponge I have to do, and how much cream also I have to do, because this also calculate is inside part. All right. So in that batch on that day, I need to have 182 kilo of mud cake mixture, and I have to prepare 60 kilo of ganache to do that sandwich, and it goes in the freezer. So that's it sounds like it's quite a lot, but we have also days that we have to make it 500 kilo. All right, but it is the exactly same thing. If you do it only 2 or 3 cakes, you can also calculate how much is the mixture you have to do, so you don't have any sort of like a excess amount of, you don't need it whatsoever. All right, so it's pretty good system to calculate. You can, I've done it in computer, you can also do it manually. You can just you know, take the calculation and calculate. So but decide how much to bake, how much to prepare for the cream, so that is actually everything is accordingly here. That's what we do. And after that, actually what we do, we prepare all those rings and everything one day before, and then next day is the first thing is actually one day before we prepare all the ingredients, like this much flour, this much egg, this much butter, this much oil, etc. All right, and then next morning when we walk in the kitchen, everything is already tempered. So I mean, mud cake is just very straightforward mixture, because you have to heat up the fat and then pour it on the chocolate and then get melted. So anyway, I'm not worried about this too much of recipes over here, because you can see the recipes from my website yenasby.com. So it's already explained everything accordingly. When we bake the cakes, we don't bake 5 to 50 millimeter and then cut them in 2 pieces. We bake them all in the inch thickness, because inch thickness is just the right size for layering. Like if it's a 75 height cake, you can put 3 times 25 or 3 times 20. All right. So once the cakes are all baked, and then they goes in the fridge for a while, only the sponge get sort of like temperature, room temperature is already good enough. Then we have a ganache, which is baked on the last night. Then we can just have it just the right temperature, or in the morning very early. So when the ganache becomes sloppy, we can actually pour it inside the cake. So we have the rings, we put the sponge, we pour the ganache, put the next sponge, push together in the right size, and then get back in the fridge. And after that, take it out, wrap in the cling wrap, and goes in the freezer. This is all done together in one day, without any sort of waiting and then sort of like next day and etc. All right, there's no masking, there's nothing that about like a naked cake, not even use any palette. All right, just the sponge, pour the ganache. The next sponge you put it in is already going around, it will be just perfectly leveled, and then goes in the freezer. That is the stock. So that's what I do if I don't have any stock, but I have it always in the freezer. So when I come to this stage every week, I take it out from the freezer, put the tags, put it in the freezer. That's already, this step will be done. All right. So now I like to talk about like what we do when we start worrying about the constructions. Well, the system is the same. It also goes to the constructions. Basically, instead of going freezer and taking out the cakes, I go to my storeroom and I have all sorts of type of boards already, every size, what is usually what we use. And then I just grab and then take my tags and then put them on the items. For example, if it's in this cake, we have not only board. This is the board, which is the 50 centimeter square. So I'll grab that piece 50 centimeter square and put on the side, and I cut this PVC according to the size is here, which is about how much is it? PVC pipe 150 height and 50 wide round. I cut this piece, put on the board, and I cut this one is about 60 centimeter. I also cut them and then make sure that it's like nicely grinded at the end, so the nuts will work nicely, and put all the nuts. And then of course we're gonna also protect those metal parts with the straws, that which also can be done, goes on the same board, and then internal sort of like lifters, which will be also calculated accordingly, and then a number of those will go, so internal stand, so here 4 of them according to sizes, put them all together into one pile, and then get them this also attached to it, and then goes on the side. When the time is ready, we will also deal with it. And also that once the raw material get together with the text, we also have it in one lot, coat them all in the right color of the cloth, because we don't actually go and buy boards which is already pre-coated, so we just coat everything ourselves. But on your case, you're probably buying things from the cake decorating supply and ready boards with the ready colors already. So you do the same thing. You don't go to the storeroom and then buy every week one item. You have to buy a stock and then make it in your at your storeroom or somewhere in a allocated corner, and then grab that from there and then put them together with the text. So you are organized with that. No, there's no problem at all. So when it comes to the construction, no matter how many cake you do, you must have a kind of a special corner at your place with some tools like a grinder and then saw and then like maybe a file and then a stock of like long threaded drawers and then PVC. It depends what you do, but make sure that you give attention, you give a great deal of attention to the construction part, because with the construction you can achieve anything you want. Without the construction, you're only doing like a cake on top of each other, couple of skewers inside. That is not what I'm talking about. So even that, if you do that, there is still board involved, there's still skewer involved. That means also you have to use the tag and put them on the side. All right, now what's next is here, decoration prep. Let's talk about this one now. About the decorations, we have to deal with two different ways. One of them is we pick up from the general stock. That means we produce things which is always needed. And we have certain boxes with the labels on it. Like, for example, we have some ready flowers, we have some mini flowers, we have some, for example, couples. We have some potato heads that we can take and then just make another couple with the different hair and different body. And then we have also, like, for example, the gowns, like a groom, also like a smoking and then like a suit and everything, ready parts that we can just take it and then join together. This is general stock. But sometimes there is an order that for example, this guy doesn't have a stock because this is like a special kind of condition, like he's like kneeling down and then playing guitar. But this one I can just grab the from the general stock the body and add other things on it, and then I can make also the what do you call Juliet. All right. So as I said, there we have some stock already labeled, boxed on the shelf, and then we have also decisions to make here what we do it for this week that is not existing, that's not available. All right. So in that particular issue, we have three forms involved. One is the flower prep sheet. All right. Another one is the special cake decor prep sheet, and another one is special cake decor prep sheet, chocolate decor prep sheet. So this is only about flowers, this is everything, and this is only for chocolate. All right. So when we look at here, every flower is we identify with different numbers. So the one means it's a one petal, just one circle. 1, 3 means one in the center, 3 outside. This is all the roses. All right, the roses. And then we have like a 2, 3, 5. That means a 2 in the middle, 3 outside, 5 outer layer. So it depends of the size. It's all the same petals but different numbers. All right. And then we have also colors, like that you have like a pink color or hot pink or red. So we can also make some stock that if there's an order last minute, we can just grab those flowers and finish the cake right away at all. All right. Right away we can do that. So frangipanis, gerbras, orchids, lilies. So sometimes I just made a list and then we just work on the flowers and prepare those flowers and put on the side. And sometimes it's not available, so I have to do it only for that week. For this one, we have also some ready stock. For example, butterflies. I have some crab parts, like the legs and the body, everything. I have shells, I have starfishes, I have I don't know, I have rocks and sugar rock, etc. So these are the things that which is every week used somehow. Then I have a stock of that. So if it's chocolate, also we do some preparations like a white wings short, white wings long. The wings means like chocolate bars that you can put on the side of the cake. This is always needed, so we prepare always some to do that. But having said that, just go back to this. What we need today now. So there is a lot of items that we have to prepare. Sort of like them. We have 9 windows here. We have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the side, another 2 on the other side. So those windows can be all done at the framework, and now when we finish that, we can pull it down. So this is a very good idea, because if you're not doing these windows on the body, you can make it much better job, because you're doing on the table. You can just put on the side. You have like a, for example, background, and then you cut the background, put the frame on it, and you have a beautiful look already without any much effort. All right. So for example, these roofs here, I can prepare as a sheet. As for example, this one is a long sheet, and after that cut accordingly and join it. All right. So whereas here, like preparation wise, I have doors, same as the windows. Roofs I can prepare. Surface I can't prepare, so you don't have to be on the list. We have to do it while we're doing it. And then the bride and groom definitely can be done before, because we have the size and we have to prepare that accordingly. So the balcony can be prepared. This street light can be prepared. All is in the list and can be prepared without the cake is done. So the cake is doing another job, get ready, and then the decorations is ready. And then once the cake ready, we join the decorations together. So this is all about the decorations. Here also, that wooden, this another is a wire branch, has to be prepared. All the little flowers is to prepare and put them together. It is written over here how many of these bougainvilleas is written there, everything done. All right. So this is how we deal with the decorations. And then now, just imagine that we have the week gone through. We have already taken out the cakes from the freezer, mask them nicely, take them, put in the fridge, already pre-coated, pre-masked, is ready to coat, and then we have decorations already, all tags on the shelf, and then the also construction being partially like goes the cake on top, the board, for example, but not the internal support. So we have the already first cake on the actual board, but not this cake, not this cake. So it can be done all like separately and then join together while we're assembling. So I like to now go through and review when everything is done, ready to go, and then assembling part, what is the kind of important things that we have to worry. Before assembling part, I like to go through the two things I forgot. One thing is about the decorations. So when I talk about the list of decorations you have to be done, you have to know two stages. One stage, what you have to do, and next stage, what you do. That means one day you prepare something, let it dry, next day continue. It is a much more efficient, much more comfortable, much more sort of like a productive sort of like act, all right? Like for example, if you want to make this guy, all right? I wouldn't do this one right away, everything. I will do the guitar first, let it dry a day. I will do the whole, but maybe just the leg situation is like let the leg is dry and the side way, and after that let it dry and then lift it up and continue doing everything else. All right. Same thing for here. For example, if you do the body ready and then you can add the head part, it will be much more solid and much more sort of comfortable to work with. All right. Anything is like this for example, this is for not one day, it's just to be 2 days. So decoration is to be divided in a couple of days, 1, 2 or 3 days. And then for example, this part you have to do it a day before, next day you join it. All right. So everything is same, like this windows also, like you can prepare earlier. And then for example, this balcony, you can make all the walls separate, let it dry and then join together next day. All right. So that's one thing. Second thing is that the two forms that I mentioned at the beginning, the forms which is for information and for reading and following up. So manual is like, it's also a very good idea to write some manuals. All right. This is the manual that, for example, if I read over here, administration, double check if there is any other orders in the office. Okay, when I put my orders on the table, I have to check again in the office, is there any additional order? Otherwise someone comes in the last minute, so annoying. All right. So place orders in the red folder with the weekly tags in front. Okay. Take this week on table and spread in the day's order, as I said just now. So double check all the attachments, tags, the customer items, everything. So whatever I said in this episode is actually part of the manual. It be going through every week the same thing. All right. And also for production site also. That's manual. That's the general manual for the general sort of like activities. And this is the book which is for like individual items. Every single decorations has to be written as a manual. So how we do that? So if I train someone to make, for example, let's say example here, special cake decorations, live creatures, the category, birds and the wings. So over here in this form here written, what is material needed, equipment needed, and steps and then important points and how long it takes, etc. All right, and then if there's any picture, you can also draw here. So it's written by Lara. It's our apprentice. She was an apprentice but specialized on flowers. So she was instructed to make this page every time she does something. So there's other items in there also like this to be done. What is the purpose of this? First of all, standardization, always the same thing, all right? And also like retraining. If somebody have this recording and writing down what to do, what they learn, all right, exactly the same. Next day, if somebody comes following, we don't have to really worry about too much of like that person. The trained guy can train the next person under our supervision, of course. That will be a good approach to the worry about the staff knowledge, all right, in sort of developing them with the good knowledge, all right. So individual job manuals is also important. So let's assemble the cake now. So coming to the final, assembling is basically putting things together, right? So you have to worry about the construction, the cake, and then the decorations, and then finish the cake. That's it, all right? So that is in general for every cake is of course the same way, all right? But in this kind of cake, in that scale, you need to have a little bit different approach. For example, that every cake in that scale, you make decisions, like probably about more than 100 decisions when you do something like that. So it depends on what you do first, what you do after. It determines the success in the right time, or you struggle or do it comfortably. That is all makes a difference, all right? So that's why I always do and recommend you to sit down and have a coffee for 15 minutes, not more than that. And then place the picture in front of you and take a little papers like this, little square papers like this, and then pencil, all right? And then write down exactly what you have to do without worry about what to do first, what to do after. For example, here is attach the street light, attach the guy, attach the girl, and then place the roofs, and then attach the wire and place the flowers, and then place the window frames or door frames, attach the roof holders, everything, all right? Just everything down, whatever you can think of. Even that like a sort of like a very simple step you write down, all right? That simple step may cause a problem if you're not doing it in the right time, all right? So that's where I end up. About 15 steps, all right? So, but this way, I clear my mind. I just have to start from the first step, and then I don't have to think about while I'm doing something, or what I have to do next. Am I doing this one right, or is it correctly done? You know, that kind of questions all answered here during the coffee break, and then you follow your own brainstorming, all right? So, particularly in this cake, that's what I will do. I will first take those internal levels, all right, and then coat them with the cardboard so that cake doesn't touch the wood, all right. So over here, that this one goes underneath the roof. This one doesn't. This one exposed outside as a balcony, all right. And this one on the roof. So whatever is on the roof, I will coat with the white cardboard underneath and top. And then this one, I will coat with pastillage. So that glue the pastillage straight away on the wood doesn't matter because it's not going to be eaten. It's only a stand, all right? So that's what I will do first. And second things, I will coat the 1 and 3. So the first cake and the third cake. So as you see that there's a sort of structure over here, there's a kind of texture over here, there's like a stone wall, right? So I think you may remember that I did a couple of times that Jenner's slice fondant method. That's a perfect solution for that. So you just cut a different type of round things, and then slice round, round fondant, and then coat it with the different colors. So there is different colors over here, of course. That is like a kind of this color and with a bit of black. So I would use like maybe just a black paint or something on the like liquid color on the fondant. Slice them, put side by side, and roll it in between plastic. Make it like a panel coating here for this two cake. All right. And after that, I will coat, put in the side. Right. I will coat the number 2 and 4, this one and that one, just straight away color fondant in that color. But before I coat all those things, I will place a darker fondant behind the windows. So when I cut the window out, just like car windows, come out with the black color or dark color underneath, whichever color I choose. All right? After that, I stack the cake. So how I do that? I place the board, and I have a hole in the board in the middle, and I have all my constructions ready. All right. Then after that, when this cake is ready, I will place my PVC pipe right inside, in the middle, leave the cake in there. All right. After that, but before I do that, of course, I place my nut here, put my long threaded rod in the center without worry about what comes on top. All right. So when this cake is done, I will place the next nut and then over here in that area, and then place the next cake on top by using that one on the top. All right, this cardboard. So the nut and the center bar, center long threaded rod, and this cake sit on it. All right, and after that PVC, and then next nut, and after that next board comes on top of it. Actually, you may miss this nut because if you put this PVC in between and then put this nut again, and it will sort of like a squish together and it will hold nicely. All right. So you one nut here is all good enough. All right. After that, place the next cake. But before I do that, I will put straw, like plastic straw, protect the cake from this metal touch, and also put some chocolate into the nuts here. And after that, place this roof on top. Then I put carry on with the next cake, and the next cake just setting up like that. The board, nut, and then the nut here first, and the board, and then the straw, nut, and the board, and then continue till it's finished. So I have my cake is already stuck together 4 layers. All right, ready. And then after that, I will attach the window frames. What I do that, I just push the window frame here, take it out, I see the indentation, I cut out and put the window frame back again. All right. After that, I give all the details to windows. So can you imagine that there's nothing on the cake yet, only the bodies, the square blocks, and then the windows. All right. And after that, I will put these corners stones. How I do that? Just cut rectangulars, and then on the corner like this, I place one like that, one like that, one like that, one like that. So that means if this short here, the longer it behind. Long here, shorter it behind. Very easy. All right. And after that, next step, I place my roofs. How I do that? I probably prepare my roofs like in the longer pieces, and after that I cut accordingly. All right. Or I make a template out of a cardboard, and after that I place the cardboard first on the cake and see that is exactly matching. After that, cutting in place. No problem. After that, I will put the holders underneath here, that little pieces, and after that these parts. All right. So then after that, I will put the Juliet on the balcony. Why I do that? Because if I put the Juliet, I know that Juliet fits exactly in the cavity that I can put the balcony on. But if I put the balcony first, I may be just doing wrong. Maybe just Juliet doesn't go inside. All right. So I make sure that it's happened. And after that, I put Romeo here, and I put the street light here. When I'm preparing my street light, I make sure that inside the bar, which is the wooden skewer, has extension to put in this hole here. So that means before I start anything, I make sure there's a hole in there ready to poke this skewer extension in there. That's finished. All right. After that, last thing is I put my wiring here, and then make sure that I have another hole here to push inside here like that. Multiple points touching, glowing, touching, glowing, and then first I do leaves. Then after that I do flowers. Then I go back to leaves and add more leaves on it. So it is a kind of very bushy kind of flower situation. Then everything is finished here. All right. Then we put the cake on the table. Room temperature about 24 degree maximum, 22 degree, 20 degrees is good. All right. So because we select the right cake, like a mud cake and the ganache and everything, so it's not going to happen in about few days in the room temperature cake. It's not going to hurt, nothing at all. All right. So when we go back to the timing, so what you have to do, of course, the decorations in the last days. So when the cake is going to consume on Saturday, I will start decorating this either Friday morning or Thursday afternoon. Or Thursday morning if you don't have time much, because if you prepare everything, it doesn't take too much to get ready to things together. So if it's well prepared one day before, depends on other orders. If it's not sort of like a scary bit for you, and I'll take another half a day or one day to put things together. So you can keep the cakes not coated with fondant as long as you wish in the fridge. All right. Once you coat with the fondant, the cake doesn't go in the fridge. So that means you have to coat the cake before you start, or the night before, and leave it on the table. All right, depends on your room temperature again. So that is all again. The assembling is finished. Now is the one thing that I like to remind you again one more time. At the beginning, I said it's up to you that how to organize your thing. Either you rely on that paperwork and then you make your forms, and you can it's sort of like a really well organized. Even that sometimes it's a bit overwhelming to have so much paperwork, but it's secure and then sort of like a professional and ethical. All right, or you can just trust your beautiful mind, and then after that trust your instinct, and then you don't have to worry about too much of paperwork. Then I tell you something. You know what is the worst cake decorator's nightmare is? Let's say you finish your work, you're happy, Saturday in the evening, you already delivered things, and then you're just about to getting ready for the kids' dinner, and then getting prepared, and the telephone ring, and then on the other side, there's a very angry man's voice, probably the groom's father, and then he says, "Where is the wedding cake?" Oh my goodness! Can you imagine? You're dealing with one of the most important day of a person, that you screw up the wedding cake. You didn't do the wedding cake because you didn't check, double check, triple check. You know, you didn't give attention to those kind of informations, like the recording and taking orders and everything. So that may happen. So that's what I want to just poke you with that. Maybe change your mind. All right. So this is the end of the 4th episode. So the cake is already ready on the table to be delivered. After this, we cannot just simply in rush and place the cake in any kind of vehicle and expect nothing wrong has happened. All right. In the next episode, I like to go through with you, based on my true experience, what are the potential problems you can face and what are the precautions you can take. So the both situation, like pickup or delivery, there's different things to talk about it. That is all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching me. God bless you all. Until to my next episode. Bye for now.